Mr. Webster will see you now.
Perhaps if you do. Oh, Mr. Sumner,
How do you do?
pleasure to meet you.
I hope I'm not interrupting.
No, not at all. I was just making some last-minute changes on a brief here, but Miss Congeniality can type up my notes for me. Babs? Hey, Babs, how about getting me a cup of coffee?
Oh, Harold, you know that caffeine makes you like a tail of a hun this time of day. How about you, Mr. Sumner? Would you like some?
No, thank you. Yeah, Dr. Phillips recommended that I see you. You do know Dr. Phillips, don't you?
Indeed, I do. Please have a seat, Mr. Sumner.
Thank you. Well, has he told you anything about my case?
No, Dave hasn't, but I'm aware of your situation.
How?
Peter Davidson.
Oh.
Well, it was quite some months ago. In fact, Peter came by to ask some advice on the difference between annulment and divorce. He was referring to your marriage.
Well, that's exactly why I'm here. I'd like you to represent me in the annulment proceedings.
Now, look, before you say a word, I want you to know that the accounting department has put an awful lot of pressure on me to stop your Gene Foster impersonation.
But, Walter, did you explain to them what
yes,
I have to...
Yes, I explained to them. But you know how these accounting types are. To them, money is money, and that's all. Besides, they know that with the congressional elections coming up, I'm going to have every reporter I can, and I'm going to have every dime I've got in the budget. So, tell me, Mr. Forlorn and well-to-do, have you made any inroads into Domi? I mean, do we have an expose, or don't we?
So how's your ankle?
Well, it's still a little sore, but, it's okay.
You know, Tina, for a bright girl, you really do a lot of stupid things.
Like what?
Like this pursuit or whatever it is.
It's called Deadly Pursuit, okay? And I find it, frankly, very challenging and a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Fun is twisting your ankle?
No, fun's not twisting my ankle. That just happens to be one of the hazards of the game. Besides, if Scully hadn't caught me off guard, he wouldn't have been able to sneak up on me like he did.
Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't have a sprained ankle in the first place if you weren't wasting your time with this game.
Well, to each his own. Besides, what do you want me to do? Spend my time like you?
Uh-huh. Well, although my life has not been the best example the way it's been the past few months, you could take a lesson with what I intend to do with it.
Okay, teach? Teach.
Well, it's my own version of Deadly Pursuit.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, now the object is to pursue and conquer every gorgeous man on campus.
Oh, are you serious?
Absolutely.
Well, love, you know, I know you wanted to go out with a whole lot of guys,
Which is
but
what I intend to do. I've already got my sights set on a couple of them now. Patrick Evans, I think, to start.
The weightlifter?
Yeah. Isn't he something?
Man, I'll say. I'm almost afraid to ask. Who else?
What do you think of Rich Garrett?
Rich Garrett? As in senior class president, Rich Garrett?
Now, isn't this a better game?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, come on, you know it is.
Well, Courtney, where do Peter and Vaughn figure into all this?
They don't. See, Peter, now, he's just a waste of time. And Vaughn? Well, Vaughn's always been there and always will be. Now, nothing's changed between us. The sooner I get the annulment, the happier I'll be about it.
Sure would like to hand you a little surprise or two.
You say something?
I said that, I really like this chicken fried, but I don't like the grease. Look, I'm gonna go wash my hands. Because we have to study for that French test tomorrow, and I don't know a thing.
That makes two of us. Okay, let's see. Yeah, who is it?
Dan Myers.
Well, what an honor, twice in one day.
It's your father.
What do you mean?
Well, you remember when you told me earlier not to be worried about what your father thinks concerning your personal life? Well, I just had a visit from the old man, and he read me the riot act about staying away from you.
Okay, what have you got for me on the Domi story?
Well, actually, nothing in the way of new information. But Walter, I feel if I stay with it, I'm going to find out what this Vanessa Vazan is up to.
Well, surely you've had enough time to find something incriminating. I mean, well, what have you found out since the last time we talked?
Well, nothing definite, but I did have another private session with her this afternoon.
And?
And I was hoping that I could get to her by telling her that my inheritance was going to be delayed.
But she didn't rise to the bait.
No. She told me she was more interested in a person's cosmic potential instead of their bank account. Not to worry about the fees, and I could pay her when I got the money.
You know, Gene, you just might be wrong about her.
What? See, look, I have considered that already. But there's just, there's just something about the way that her behavior, something about the way she acts. It's like she goes out of her way to be nice.
You know what that could mean, don't you, Gene? It could mean that she's just caught on to you.
But how could she? I mean, she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything about what I'm doing.
Well, then maybe she's everything she seems to be.
My gut instinct tells me that this woman is a phony.
But you haven't got one concrete piece of evidence to prove it. Now, look, I mean, she just might very well be a genuine counselor who earns her living from people who can afford to pay for it, and for those that can't, she helps them out without charging them.
But what about those in the upper level of Domi?
Well, what about them? You tell me. What have you found out?
Very little. Very little. It's like a well-kept secret. But, Walter, I know that there's a story there. Now, if you just give me a little time, I'm sure I can penetrate this inner circle.
How much time?
Give me a week, maybe 2.
You know I can't do that.
Walter, why not? Why can't
Told you why not. Because accounting is on my case. I mean, they know this election is coming up, and besides, I have to have you here full-time.
But now, look, Walter, there's a good story here. Now, all I need is another week. Just give me a week. That's all I'm asking.
No. 1 day, that's all. Another day.
I can't give you anything definite in 24 hours. I'm going to need at least 5 days.
2. That's it.
How about 3?
I think you are wasting your valuable time. On the other hand, I hope you prove me wrong. But you get 3 days, and that's it.
It's great. 3 days to come up with something definite.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes, and only 3 days. I'll tell you, if you don't come up with something in 3 days, Gene, I'm gonna deep six the Domi story. And that's it. I'll get you back here where I really need you.
So you've talked to Peter. Then I assume he's told you all about our marital problems.
Well, I need to hear everything in your own words, if you don't mind. When did the marriage take place?
On March 12th of this year.
And on what grounds is your wife seeking an annulment?
On the basis of my sterility and impotence.
Are these conditions medically verified?
Yes, but...
But what?
Well, actually, there aren't any problems anymore.
How can that be?
Well, you see, Dr. Phillips and Dr. Goodman, he's the urologist that I've been consulting, ran some tests not long ago, the results of which evidenced an increase in my sperm count. So I'm capable of fathering a child.
Well, that sounds like good news. I wonder what made the sperm count go up.
I don't know. Dr. Phillips considers it a miracle, and I suppose I do, too.
And have you told your wife about this?
Yes.
Well, what was her reaction?
Confused at first, But then she decided that she was still going through with the annulment. Because she still thinks I'm impotent.
She still thinks you're impotent?
Well, this is difficult to talk about. You see, I have not been able to consummate my marriage because I haven't been able to make love to my wife. But Courtney interprets that as my still being impotent.
So what is it that you're saying?
I'm saying that I am not able to have physical relations with my wife, but only my wife.
So you have been able to be intimate with other women?
Yes, only one other woman, and that was before the wedding.
And have you told your wife about this?
No. Now, please don't get me wrong about this. I don't want to bring this out in the open. I'd sooner have forgotten it when it happened, but Courtney keeps pressing the issue. So what do you say? Will you accept the case?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I'm going to need a whole lot more information than that. I got to tell you, my first inclination is to tell you to go to Courtney, tell her everything that you know about this, and maybe you two can work it out for yourselves.
No, but see, I've been trying to do that, and it's not working. Courtney has one thing on her mind right now, ending this marriage. I know if I went and told her this, she'd think I was making it up. But if you go, my attorney, I know she'll listen.
I want to ask you about this other woman.
Oh, well, if you want her name, actually, I'd rather not give it unless it was absolutely
Oh, I
necessary.
understand that, Mr. Sumner. I just need to know if she'd be willing to come forward in case we do need her.
Oh, yes, yes. She said that she would. But I don't really think it's going to be necessary. Courtney thinks that this whole process is going to be very easy, that the hearing is really a foregone conclusion, because I don't have a defense.
So you just want to use this information to kind of get her back to the bargaining table, as it were.
Exactly. That's what I hope to do. Of course, I don't want to hurt Courtney. I mean, I think the last 5 months of my silence proves that.
Hmm. Tell me something. How much does Dave Phillips know about this situation?
About my indiscretion?
Yeah.
Nothing.
You mind if I discuss your case with him?
No, please. You have my permission. So will you accept the case?
It's an intriguing case. Fascinating. But, Mr. Sumner, I'm not really a divorce lawyer.
Yes, but you've handled annulments before.
Yes, I have.
And you come highly recommended. Dr. Phillips spoke very well of you.
I'll tell you what. Let me call you later this afternoon. Let me check my calendar, see what my caseload is like for the next month. And I'll talk to you about it later this afternoon.
Fine, but I think it'd probably be better if I called you.
That's fine. That might even be better this afternoon.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sure, fine.
You do think I have a chance?
First things first, Mr. Sumner. I'll talk to you in the morning.
Yeah.
Babs, could you come in here, please? Babs, I want you to get Dr. Phillips on the phone. See if he can come over here. I need to talk to him this afternoon.
Okay, is that all?
No. Call Zacharias and have him send up a cup of Turkish Delight. I believe you'll find it has about 2 or 3 times the amount of caffeine as regular coffee.
My father promised me that he wasn't going to interfere in my life anymore.
Well, I'm sure that's what he said, Courtney, but that's obviously not what he intends to do. I mean, he told me to handle the annulment proceeding as expeditiously as possible, and that's all.
Did he say why?
Well, no, he didn't, but, I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? He wants to put a leash around your neck again. Do you intend to let your father run your life?
I want to run my own life. Why is that so difficult for everyone to understand?
I understand it.
Yeah, well, I think you're the only one who does.
He's not the only one, Courtney.
Well, Tina, I didn't know you were here.
That's obvious.
Were you listening long?
Long enough. Look, Courtney, you've got that French test tomorrow.
I can't study right now. Tina, maybe later.
Later.
Right, later, yeah. See, Courtney and I haven't really finished our conversation yet.
Oh. Well, I have a lot of studying to do, so I think I'll just be running along. If you need me, I'll be at the dorm.
Listen, Tina, you don't have to go.
I want to.
really appreciate you giving me a lift home so Carla could take the kids down to the beach with her car.
Oh, sweetheart, think nothing of it. I was happy to do it. What's all this stuff you got strode around here?
That's my Domi story that I'm supposed to be working on, and that's about as far as I've gotten. The governor's only given me 3 days to come up with something. Can you believe that?
Honey, I'm sure you will.
I'm not.
Gene, where's your confidence? You've got important work there. Just keep that in mind. You know, it kind of reminds me of a verse I ran across in my morning prayers.
Oh, Mom, please don't start any sermons or anything in here.
Nothing to do with deeds of darkness, but rather expose them.
And I suppose that has something to do with me?
Of course it does, Gene. Now, I know you don't believe the way I do, but it does me awfully proud to know that you're exposing darkness through your work here.
Sure, Mom. I tell you, if only I could expose some evil deeds of darkness or whatever when this Domi stuff is concerned. Gets on my nerves.
Oh, dummy. Hearing an awful lot about that lately.
What, have you been hearing that from Nancy?
Yes. Nancy was rather upset today. It just seems some domite in some upper circles or whatever they call it decided to take her own life. And I told Nancy, I said, Nancy, you've just got to expect that kind of thing.
Dave, do you think Sumner would bend the truth if it would serve his purposes?
Well, a few months ago, I would have said yes.
And now?
I'm inclined to say that he wouldn't.
You're not sure, though.
Well, as I told you before, Harold, I really don't know him that well.
Just exactly how desperate Mr. Sumner is my question.
Did he give you all the facts surrounding his marriage?
I believe he did. He seemed very sincere.
And where Courtney's concerned, he is. Of course, he's had some troubles where she's concerned, but he knows that.
I guess it's safe to assume, then, that he has told me the truth.
Well, without knowing what he told you, that's pretty hard to say, Harold, but I'd say that's a fair assumption.
Well, it looks like Mr. Sumner has himself a lawyer.
How's the ankle?
It's a little sore.
I thought it might be, so I brought you some more ice.
Oh, thanks.
Tina, you're supposed to keep your ankle propped up. I mean, that is the only way you can ease the swelling. Come on. How is it?
It's much better, thanks.
Yeah? Tina, this ankle looks more swollen than it did this morning. What have you been up to?
Not much.
What's that supposed to mean?
You really care, don't you?
Yes. Now, come on, what have you been doing?
All right, I confess. I did a little roller skating. Just a little.
Very funny.
All right. I have been walking around on it a little bit.
A little?
Yes, just a little. Now, look, before you start yelling at me, I want to tell you that I went over to Courtney's and I found out something that I think you just got to hear.
Well, that's fine, but let's take care of this first, all right?
Look, you didn't hear me.
Yes,
Perhaps,
I did.
huh?
I heard you perfectly. But first things first. There. How's that feel? And don't say cold.
It is. It's much better, though.
Oh, good. You know, you've got to stay off this foot, Tina.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm serious, please. When I went home, I looked up sprained ankle in a medical dictionary, and it said that you've got to keep it packed in ice and elevated for 24 to 36 hours, and then you switch over to hot compresses to ease the soreness. Now, can you remember that?
Yes, Doctor, I'll do whatever you say.
Fine. Now, what's this news you have about Courtney?
Oh, well, while I was over there, Dan Myers came in, and he said that Preston Carpenter had told him to stay away from her.
Preston said that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, at least Myers says he did.
Oh, well, good for Preston.
Oh, you should have seen the look on Courtney's face. She really liked that, let me tell you.
I'm sure.
You know, I think Preston's on your side.
Well, actually, I think Preston wants to remain neutral where Courtney is concerned.
I don't know. I think if he was given his choice, he'd favor you.
I just hope this whole thing is settled very soon.
Did you see that lawyer?
Yeah, Harold Webster. I've got to get in touch with him this afternoon to see if he can fit it in with his caseload and that sort of thing.
Did you tell him about sleeping with me before the wedding?
Yeah. But I didn't have to mention your name, so don't worry. I just hope this all works, Tina.
Oh, sure it will. Look, we just got to stick to our story, okay? Besides, what other alternative do you have?
Well, not much.
I remember I'm doing this because I know how much she means to you.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should let you get back to your studying.
Oh, you don't have to go.
No, I think I'd better go.
Oh.
But I'll check back on you later.
Okay.
And stay off of the foot.
I will.
When did this happen?
Well, I'm not sure, Gene. It might have been last night. I don't think she told me.
Okay, now look, I gotta get everything now. Did she mention the woman's name?
No, I don't believe she did.
Mom, you didn't say anything to Nancy about me doing a Donny story, did you?
Oh, Gene, you know I wouldn't say anything to Nancy about a thing like that.
Good, good.
But I did tell her, Nancy, in the end, nothing short of God is gonna satisfy
Well, you
any
know
of these
what?
people.
I've got to get that woman's name because this is exactly what I've been looking for.